The Maple Leafs avoid a collapse and win game number 2 in overtime.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Dave, hopefully someone out there put $5 on Max Domi to score an anytime goal tonight, because if you did, it cashed, and it got the Maple Leafs to victory. Max Domi scoring in overtime. Toronto wins game 2, 3-2, and take a 2-0 series lead heading up north to the nation's capital. How we feeling, pal?
I hate you right now.
I told you. I told you.
You put it out there.
Going overtime, Leafs 3-2 win in OT. I literally, it's what I said was going to happen in the preview show yesterday. You just knew, like, it was a tight game in game 1, and the power plays were the difference. And I knew that was not going to be the case in game 2, right? Like, and that's exactly how it turned out. The Leafs got one power play, made quick work of it, scored 8 seconds into that power play. Again, another quick one, but that was it. They didn't see another power play for the rest of the game. Should there have been? I believe so. There was a couple that probably should have been called. The high stick. There was a tripping call right before the puck over glass that, was, whether or not that went out or hit something, I don't know. But it seemed like the referees put the whistles away today, and Sens fans cannot complain about refereeing tonight at all for that loss.
Nope, they cannot. They could just blame Drake Batherson for some soft defensive play on that Max Domi goal.
Yeah, it's not one that Ottawa's going to be happy with, that's for sure, and probably the one that's going to sink their season, realistically. All time when the Maple Leafs go up 2-0 in the series, with both wins coming on home ice, Toronto's 10-0 in those series. So the Maple Leafs will hope to keep that trend alive as they head up to Ottawa now. But yeah, that's definitely a goal that the Senators don't love, that's for sure. And realistically, I thought Omar played a lot better tonight than he did the other night. Had some big saves. The goals that they did score, you can't really fault them. They were kind of just took some bad bounces, or there was some poor defensive play in front of him. Maybe the Domi goal, but he was screened. But yeah, either way, I thought that it was definitely a much more even game tonight. The numbers would suggest that at 5-on-5. The second period, I thought, got away from Toronto a little bit. Ottawa started pushing, but Anthony Stolarz, man, that's 2 games in a row. This guy's come up big, huge for Toronto. And if it wasn't for redirections and tips, I mean, the guy would have been perfect. Like, you talk about bad bounces. That's the only reason why this guy's given up goals so far in this postseason is because of bad bounces. Nothing's beat him clean. You've got to be ecstatic if you're a Leaf fan watching this Stolarz guy play right now. He's on fire. He's looking like Bobrovsky did a couple of years ago when they sunk Toronto. That's how good he's played. His old teammate, he watched Bobrovsky stonewall the Leafs a couple of years ago, and now he's doing that to the Sens here.
Absolute competitor gamer, right? Like, sometimes it doesn't always look pretty with Stolarz, but it gets the job done, right?
Well, and how about him giving it to Ridley Gregg? Like, I was standing up, literally clapping, cheering. I'm like, I was more excited when he dumped Ridley Gregg in his crease than when Domi scored the OT winner. Like, I swear to you, I got up and was like, let's go, Stoli. Stoli the goalie. Don't mess with my guy, Stoli the goalie. Sticking up for himself, and I loved it. And then the fact that he's backing it up with just excellent play, looks calm, cool, collected. He's so big in the net. He's making the stops he needs to. Like, again, tonight was a night where the shot discrepancy was very much in favor of Ottawa. It was a 28 shots for the Sens, a 28 to 18. Or no, 28 to 20. So 28 to 20, or it's 21 with the goal there So 28-21 were the shots. Stolarz coming up 26 out of 28 saves, 929 save percentage. To me, like the way that this guy's played right now, he's been the star of the series to this point, I would say. And it's so funny going into it. And we had that conversation yesterday to at least have the edge in goal. Well, tonight, when both goaltenders were locked in and played well, he made one extra save than the other guy, right? And to me, that's massive and a big reason why they're up 2-0.
Yeah, big reason why. And you need your goaltender to do it, right? If you're going to go far in the playoffs, I don't know many teams that can get by with just subpar goaltending. And so that's why this should be a big positive development for the Leafs to see. And I think hopefully it also allows the team to maybe calm the nerves a little bit, because it did feel like they were a bit nervous, in the second half of the game. But, Stolarz stepped up, right? And I felt like in the third period, they understood they needed to be better. They needed to play better. And we saw that in the third period. Unfortunately, the first shot that Ottawa had was the game-tying goal in the third period. Very unfortunate. And, we'll go and beat Stolarz. The unluckiest of bounces.
Yeah.
Literally not much he could do on that play. And so you can kind of look at how the Senators have beaten Stolarz in this series, and he hasn't really been clean.
It's just been unlucky bouncing. Like they've gotten good puck luck, but the Maple Leafs
tonight.
Yeah,
lucky bounce. Other two are rebounds.
Yeah,
right.
And even the rebound, like the Drake Batherson rebound yesterday in Game 1, it was like he went to go and corral it, just bounced over his stick. The rebound, and it's just like, okay, it's a bad bounce. Like when the guy has to make the save, he's been pretty sharp, and goaltending tonight was the difference in that game, and it had to be, right? When you're playing most of the game at 5-on-5 or down a man, your goaltending had to come through for you, and Anthony Stolarz certainly did that. Let's take a quick break. Let's come back. Let's continue to dive into the game. We'll talk about what else we liked and didn't like, and get to our 3 stars and look ahead a little bit to Game 3, which now shifts up north to the nation's capital. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NHL playoffs are here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action right now. When you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting easy, so it's whether you're picking your favorite team to win or diving into some player props, from goal scorers to shot props. FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game starts, you can even combine some live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you, as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, on the Locked On Leafs podcast, free and available wherever you get your podcast. And also, you can stream it live on, I guess it's not live now, but on YouTube. You can stream it on YouTube after every game and every Monday to Friday, every weekday. So the Maple Leafs with a 3-2 win in overtime. That one wasn't as good. Did you catch that little ode to Rick Jeanneret at the start?
Did you get that? Didn't have quite the raspiness of the Jenner, but yeah, you definitely, it was. I was like, is that you're going for the Mexican soccer?
Go Domi with the goal, like that.
Yeah, like that.
Max Domi with the overtime winner to put the Leafs up 2-0 in the best of 7 against the Ottawa Senators. And I already said the stat, the Leafs, when they go up 2-0 on home ice, they're 10-0 throughout their franchise history. So it's a good omen to be in the spot where the Maple Leafs find themselves. So hopefully they can go up to Ottawa and take care of business there. But before we close the book on tonight's game, outside of the goaltending, what else stood out to you tonight?
Man, quite a bit stood out to me tonight, but I'd probably say the Leafs pressure at 5-on-5 I felt was better. Like they did a good job of forechecking Yeah, some unfortunate bounces here and there, but I felt like especially in the first period, they were all over Ottawa.
Dude, did you also think that Mitch Marner scored when he hit the post? Like, I thought he had scored. I was ready. Chris Tanev had his hands up in the air. Like, he's getting ready. He was celebrating already. Like, it seemed like the whole team was. And it rings off the post and stays out of the net. But that play was created by the forecheck, right? Great pressure by Austin Matthews. Chip chase. He forechecks, hits the guy behind the net, forces a turnover, and Matthew Nyes just scoots it out in front. And Marner wide open in the slot, just rings it off the post. But yeah, like that's another example of Toronto tonight did a good job of applying pressure, especially early. And you noted I liked the start of the game. In that first period, they controlled 68.5% of the expected goals and controlled the high danger chances 4-2 in the first period, one of which being that Marner shot. So for me, I like the way that they came out and started. The second period was kind of the opposite. Ottawa really started taking to them in the second, and then the third, I thought it evened out a little bit. Toronto started to take control back again. Then obviously in overtime, the Leafs got it done pretty quickly. But for me, I thought the Leafs still, second period aside, I suppose, defensively, they still look strong. Like, yeah, the Senators are getting a lot of shot attempts. Like the Corsi percentage isn't great. Like at 5-on-5, I think the Senators had 60% of the shot attempts. But, at 5-on-5, they only had 48% of the actual shots. So a majority of their shots came on the power play, which the Leafs were able to kill off, two of the three at the very least. But I thought defensively they played pretty well. Brandon Carlo, despite the puck going off of his skate, man, I thought that pairing looked good tonight. Carlo and Riley, Simon Benoit, I thought he had a decent game. And obviously Tanev continues to be an absolute stud. But I thought defensively, the Maple Leafs were pretty solid and really good on the forecheck, as you mentioned as well. That was kind of one of the takeaways that I took from tonight too.
Yeah. And look, I think when you consider, the narrative going into this game was a lot about how the Senators should feel good because how they were at 5-on-5 and all that stuff. I think it's also the Leafs are just like, you can throw out all the shots you want on net, but Berube hockey has clearly been about getting the quality of the chances. Yeah. Sometimes, so he wants the simple throw the puck on net, but be smart about it. Don't just like blatantly throw the puck on it just so you can get yourself a scoring chance.
Anthony Stolarz, the average shot distance he faced was 47 feet from the net. That was the average shot distance, 47 feet. Let me check and see what it was for Ullmark, because I feel like it was less. That's at 5-on-5. And yeah, the Leafs 40 feet from the net. So they were able on average to get 7 feet closer to be firing some shots and getting those in there. So kudos to Toronto for doing that and also keeping Ottawa pretty far away. They only gave up 3 rebound shots at 5-on-5. So they did a better job of boxing out tonight and not allowing those second, third opportunities that they did allow in the first game that resulted in a couple of goals. So defensively, I thought the team was better tonight. And obviously the goalie, the last line defense being the best. The penalties, I think we got to quickly touch on that because there was a couple there in the end. Like you can't tell me that in the back of the mind of the officials that they don't remember that it was a 6-2 penalty discrepancy in game 1, because it felt to me, and again, it didn't come back to sink the Leafs, so we're not going to complain about it. But the Sens got away with a few penalties there in the third period that didn't get called, especially a couple there late in the game that certainly could have ended it if Toronto got to the power play. But they only ended up with 1 power play on the night, which seems a little suspect when you watch that game unfold.
Yeah, I felt there were times definitely where they should have, where it felt like, it was the refs decided that they were going to try to call it as straight as possible. But at the same time, there were moments where things were missed. And I'll give them credit because they did get a few of the calls right. The Mitch Marner one. As soon as you saw it, okay, I can understand why that's not a penalty, right? But then it's like with the game so close, it was almost like they didn't want to be like, you always hear the refs want to be the story of the game. I felt like at that like near the end there, they did not want to be the reason. And we've seen it how many times in the playoffs where late in the game, they don't want to be the ones. They don't want to be the reason for a team winning or losing because of a chintzy, let's call it chintzy penalty call, as some would say, or even just a penalty call that is indeed playoff style, right? A playoff penalty.
Yeah, I want to play. There was an 11-second clip. Omar, Tic Tac Tomar, he uploaded this, and this is the one that I was referred to late in the game that I thought there could have been two penalties. It was the trip on Austin Matthews that I was shocked that I didn't see a hand go up for. And then at the same time, we saw a possible puck over glass that did not get called. And so here, let me just big screen it for a second here. Like, look at this. How does this trip not get called? It's right in between the feet. Like,
I didn't even notice.
Look at where his stick is. His stick is in between Austin Matthews' feet, in between the feet, and he trips him up. Boom, no call.
And it was called earlier in the game.
100% it was. And then all of a sudden, you get this play right here. Boom, chips it out. Didn't look like it hit the glass. The glass didn't really reverberate all that much. The Maple Leafs are asking for this to be a penalty. And I believe there was a quick call or a quick little gather by the officials, and they decided, nah, we're not going to call it. And it's like, how can you let both of those go? Like, okay, if you miss the trip, which is so blatant, I don't understand how you miss that, but you missed the trip. All right, that 50-50 call, you got to make that one at least because you already missed one. That really annoyed me right at the end. I'm like, if the Leafs come back to lose this game, or like in the next, ensuing shift, the Sens score while they should be killing off a penalty, I would be real pissed. But whatever, it didn't happen. The Leafs, they still ended up winning the game despite only getting one power play. They did finish on that power play, I might add. But yeah, Toronto with a 3-2 win in overtime. Let's take one more quick break. We'll come back, get to the 3 stars of the game, and put a little bow on the Leafs victory. I'm Mike DiStefano with Dave Morassutti. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.
Today's show is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you keep you feeling fuller longer. I'm a big fan of the no-shell variety. It's great if you're inviting some friends over and you don't want the mess of the shells, or you don't have to get that extra bowl for somebody to put the shells into. So that's always a great option for game time. Or, you may like the classic in-shell options, and they also have that too. They come in many different flavors, so you have options to choose from. So get snackin and crackin with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you as always, reacting to a Maple Leafs 3-2 overtime win over the Ottawa Senators. Max Domi with the overtime winner gives the Leafs a 2-0 advantage in the best of 7. Let's get to our 3 stars of the game. Dave, who was your first star?
I got to give it to Anthony Stolarz.
100%. Not even a question. Stoli, the goalie, number one reason why the Maple Leafs won this game tonight.
He is, and he's been, as you said, he's right now, he'd be the early favorite for Leafs MVP of the playoffs. Because
Conn Smythe? You saying Conn Smythe? You want to go there? You want to see? I'm curious what would that pay? What would a Stolarz Conn Smythe pay? Keep going. I'm going to take a look at that on FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, you need your goal in a series like this where where goals are at a after in this game specifically, where goals are not at a premium, and you know, the Leafs struggling to get some of those opportunities to come through for them. And look, Linus Ullmark played better tonight. Linus Ullmark had a better game for the Senators, so the Leafs were going to need their goaltender to step up too. So, yeah, I think again, once again, you see just having that calm, confident goaltender net. Yeah, sometimes Stolarz tends to get, you know, in weird positions. Like there was that one where he was on his back on the power play. But hey, his blue liners, blue line, whoever was there, was able to push it away. Like he's gonna do whatever he can do to make sure that puck doesn't go into the net. And I mean, how could you also not love the little pushback on Ridley Gregg?
Oh, I loved it so much, dude. Honestly, that gets me first star right there. He could have let in 6 goals and he still would have been first star for giving Ridley Gregg a little taste of his medicine. Loved it.
Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, he was obviously my first star as well. Like he's the reason why the Maple Leafs won this game. He's fantastic tonight. Made some big time stops. Even late in the game, like gets that makes that big glove save, flash the leather there late in the game. Could have been, you know, it could have been curtains for this game at the very least. But yeah, Anthony Stolarz was fantastic and gave this team every chance to win it, and eventually they did. Plus 4,000, by the way. So 40-1 odds for Anthony Stolarz at this moment to win the Conn Smythe. That is better odds than Nikita Kucherov, Mark Scheifele, Leon Draisaitl. Better odds than Kopitar, Mackenzie Blackwood. Better odds than William Nylander, actually. So plus 4,000, little 40-1 action if you believe in Stoli the goalie and he can continue to perform this way throughout the rest of the playoffs. Might be worth a little sprinkle. Might be worth a sprinkle. All right. Second star of the game, Dave.
Second star, you're gonna be a little surprised with them, but I'm gonna give it to Morgan Riley.
Why? I have the same second star as you, brother.
Wow. You know,
well, I'm gonna give it to the pairing, but like Riley's the goal scorer, so
two games with 2 goals. This is looking a little familiar, isn't it, Mike?
It is. It's looking a lot like that that series against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and it's the confidence, isn't it? The confidence to be able to activate, and that's exactly how he scored his goal tonight. Being able to come down in the offensive zone and get in a scoring position, and he does that. He draws in an extra body to the net, and it goes off the defenseman and in, or well, I guess it went off his skate, but he draws in an extra player, and he ends up scoring the goal. Why? Because he activated. He went to the net, and he could do that because he has faith in Brandon Carlo and faith that the forwards are also, you know, filling in for him and protecting him. So, yeah, I thought those two as a pair were pretty good tonight. You look at their underlying numbers for them; they led the Maple Leafs with expected goals. Morgan Riley, 72% expected goals. Brandon Carlo, 71% expected goals, and yeah, Riley tonight out there, 5 high danger chances while on the ice, just 2 against while on the ice tonight. And then the shots were 12-3 at 5-on-5. Considering that the Maple Leafs got outshot pretty well tonight, the fact that he's a +9 in the shot department, pretty good. I think he had like 3 or 4 blocks too, if I'm not mistaken. Bunch of block shots, both him and Brandon Carlo. So yeah, to me, Riley, Carlo, they deserve some love. Certainly as well. So they were my second star, which leads us to, I would imagine, the game winner, Max Domi, with the third star.
Yeah, you got, and it probably feels bad to have the game winner be the third star, but
it wasn't a great game for that line.
There were a lot of people calling for Max Domi to be on the bench, not even to be on the ice for overtime, not even to really be on the ice for the next game. That's where we're going. Which I understand. I understand the complaints. I understand the, you know, but this is the playoffs, man. Once in a while is going to have a moment like that, and you gotta have faith that someone's gonna be able to do it. So nice that Max was able to have that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And something just feels right about Domi making his presence known and felt in the Battle of Ontario, doesn't it? Just feels right. Feels right to me.
The last time the Leafs had a 2-0 series lead, 2002, when Ty Domi and the Leafs went up against the New York Islanders. And this was also the first time the Leafs had won back-to-back home playoff games since 2004.
Look at that. Look at that, Dave. Look at that. And they won that series, I believe, against the Ottawa Senators, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah.
Correct? Yeah, because it wouldn't have been against Philly, I don't believe. Would have been the first round against Ottawa. It's an omen, Dave. The stars are starting to align, buddy. Things are looking up for the Buds. I'll tell you what, I feel good, though. Like, I wanted to see them put forward an effort like this again, right? A shutdown defensive effort where they played playoff-style hockey, low-event hockey, straight-line hockey, make sure that they crash and bang on the boards, block shots, take away time and space. Don't allow, Ottawa to make their way to the front of the net, and do as much as you can to get yourself into the front of the net and try and develop some scoring chances and try and create some turnovers in behind the Ottawa goal with some hard forecheck. And I thought they did, a pretty good job of all of those things tonight for a second straight game. So starting to believe, Dave, that this year could, in fact, be different. We all kind of liked what we saw towards the end of the year, but said, let's wait, though, until we see it happen in the playoffs. 2 games in, we've seen some positive signs that this might be legit, right? Like that's kind of where I'm at. Maybe tomorrow we can get into it more and some other positive signs that we've seen through 2 games as to where we're at, how we're feeling as this thing shifts up north to Ottawa as the Battle of Ontario continues for Game 3 Thursday night. But that'll do it for us here today on the podcast. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti, and follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs. You can find us on Instagram as well at Locked On Leafs. We'll be back with another episode for you guys tomorrow. Until then, keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.